In this video, we're going to talk about measuring length. Measuring length, we can use different things to measure. We can use centimeters, we can use millimeters, and we can use meters. Well, let's talk about the difference between these things. Here I have a ruler, and what we can see is along this side here we have millimeters and centimeters. Well, how do I know? Because, well, along the side here, these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on, that represents a centimeter. Those are centimeters. So if I grab my measuring length title here and I start it there, I'm not going to start it at the 1. I have to start it here where there would be a 0. And it's almost, if you look closely, it's almost 8 centimeters, isn't it? It's just under centimeters. 8 centimeters, that is. Well, what's in between centimeters, you might be wondering? Well, in between centimeters, oops, what's going on? In between centimeters, you have millimeters. Millimeters are these little lines in between, like the 9 and the 10. You're going to see 10 little lines. And those are millimeters. Millimeters are really small. You might use millimeters if you're measuring the width of your pinky or how long a ladybug is. Little measurements like that. So in between each centimeter, there are 10 millimeters. So 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. So starting at 0 and going up to 3 centimeters, that is equal to 30 millimeters, because we have 10, 20, 30. 30 millimeters. Remember that there's 10 millimeters between every centimeter. So if I'm going to measure this measuring length sign, I don't want to start it at the very beginning of the ruler. And the reason for that is, if you notice, the ruler starts there, but the 0 would start right there. Yeah. So what I need to do is start the measuring length. Whatever I'm measuring, I have to start it at the 0. So keep that in mind. Don't start it at the beginning of the ruler, because not all rulers start at 0. Sometimes the 0 is a little bit away from the edge. Okay, now I look and I see that it goes up to about there. So it's not quite 9, or 8 rather, it's not quite 8 centimeters, but it's close. So the way we'd write that is it's 7.9 centimeters, because it's 7 centimeters and then there's 9 of those little millimeter lines in between. So it's 7.9. Or if I was counting in millimeters, we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 9. It would be 79 millimeters. So that way we can represent lengths with centimeters and millimeters. Let's do another example. I'm going to extend this a little bit, measuring length sign. Okay, let's measure this. So I'm going to start it again right at the 0, not at the start, that wouldn't be right, but right at the 0. Okay, and now, looks really close to how many centimeters? Can you see? It goes up to there, so that's right on 11 centimeters. Well, how many millimeters would that be? Well, if every centimeter has 10 millimeters, we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. 110 millimeters. Wow, awesome. Let's try one more. Alright, here we go. I'm going to measure my measuring length sign, starting at the 0. And I see that it goes up to about that line. So it's in between 13 and 14 centimeters. So what we can say is it's longer than 13, so it's 13, And then how many millimeters? Well, if I count closely, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4. So it's 13.4 centimeters. That means it's 13 centimeters and, remember, decimal means and, 4 millimeters. Excellent. And to find out how many millimeters that is altogether, how many millimeters? Well, each centimeter is 10, so that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, and then 4 more, so it's 134 millimeters. We could also measure using meters. And a meter stick, if you notice here, has a lot of centimeters in it. A lot. And there are actually 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So meters are used to measure longer things like maybe the width of the door or how tall somebody is. Mr. Siemens, for example, is 1 meter and 82 centimeters. That's how I'd write it, 1.82 meters tall. Or maybe you're wondering how long a house is or how long a driveway is. You're going to want to use meters because centimeters are too short. Remember, there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter.